So it's week 7 on this personal podcast, and I want to thank everybody for coming back. I'm just running down briefly. Mike
Okay,
J,
Princess, I'll call you back.
Devon, Raymond Smith, Eric Rains. We got Mark Smith back. Alfred, my man, Dre Wallace just tuned in. So it's a hot topic this week. We already feeling a little tension before we even started recording. Everybody wants to talk about Ice Cube and Donald Trump releasing a platinum plan, coming up so close on the election, and you know, everybody knows the game, but you know, everybody has a difference of opinion about it. So it's going to be passionate this week, and we're going to respect that. So I'm gonna just say, I read the plan a few times this week. Just looking at the plan, just looking at how it applies to me directly, how it applies to communities, how I think the community, what I think personally about what needs to be done in our communities to help the communities, and how I think that was affected or addressed in the plan for me. You know what I mean? I can only read it and apply my opinion to it. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's so close up on the election, and I mean, everybody's trying to play on the black vote, and I just appreciate everybody just paying attention, man. No matter what your opinion is about anything, I just appreciate people paying attention right now, and wanting to talk about it. So this week we're gonna start with my brother E. Rains. Where E. Rains? We're gonna start with my brother E. Rains this week. And just what were your thoughts on the platinum plan, or Ice Cube in general stepping out, and what did you hear about it, and what did you feel about it when you see it?
So for me personally, man, to be honest with you, I watched a couple different videos with Ice Cube and his little interview, the Roland Martin video, his personal videos he was posting about his involvement with Trump as it relates to this platinum plan, or which again has nothing to do with Ice Cube. That's Trump's plan. But with Ice Cube jumping in, just wanting to present some requests. And if you watch the video and you watch any of his interviews, you know that he reached out to both parties. It just appears that the Republican Party was more receptive in terms of immediately teaming up with him and listening to his views and his ideas and some of the requests as they represent the Black community, whereas the Democratic Party was like, yeah, it sounds good, but we're going to get with you after this election. So that for me personally, in terms of what Ice Cube is trying to do, I'm cool with it, man. I know everybody going to have their different perspectives, and I'm cool with it. The only thing about it is, it's like we've had an idiot running this country for the past 4 years. And I just can't wrap my head around the fact that, him or anybody else is just now jumping out there to try to make these points and make these requests. And it's crazy. The funny thing about it is, a lot of what he was saying in these interviews align with the same interview that I was trying to get y'all to look at, not necessarily interview, but a video that Dr. Umar Johnson did about voting and these different agendas, and making sure that we, as a people, are making requests and standing firm on those requests, that things get implemented that represent the Black community. So, I'm cool with Ice Cube, man. I think I'm sure he pro Black or pro people. however you want to put it. I'm just wondering why right now and why Donald Trump. And at the end of the day, man, whether you voting Republican, Democratic, whatever your political affiliation is, at some point in time, whether there's a party that's representing you and everything that you have in mind or not, at the end of the day, man, you still have to vote. This notion that you shouldn't vote, you know what I mean, is crazy to me. I can't believe that Ice Cube is supporting such an agenda that we probably shouldn't vote because they don't have anything in place for us, anything that represents us. The reason is because we don't vote, because our voices have not really been heard, because we make all these excuses as to why we shouldn't vote, why we shouldn't be involved. It's I got different feelings about it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, under no circumstances should we be sitting at home thinking we should not vote. It's crazy to me. It's ridiculous in my opinion. And Ice Cube also mentioned in one of those videos where, yeah, um, everybody out here talking about, our people died for this. And saying that his opinion is that nobody actually died for this. Man, our people did die for this. I mean, black people were gonna get killed regardless just because of the color of their skin. But at the same time, these same black people were out here marching. You know what I'm saying? We're out here protesting, basically begging and pleading for some of the simple little rights we got today, just as human beings. And in that process, some of those people were killed. So yes, our people did die for this right. And we need to respect that. We need to keep pushing and pumping, man, without just going on and on, man. I'm going to leave it right there. I know everybody else got something else to say. I didn't really probably cover all my feelings, but, I'll hold for now, man, until I get another opportunity to speak.
Thanks, E. Yeah, you ain't really touch on the plan in specific, or
well,
but like you said,
my comments were more so. I was really stung by, some of the things that Ice Cube and a lot of Black America is saying as it relates to voting in general. And, like I said, while I may not have touched on some of the things you was looking for, I really was touching on what stood out to me in terms of, what I heard from Ice Cube's interview with not TMZ, with Roland Martin. I don't know if y'all saw that or not, that full interview and how that went down. And then some of the individual videos that he was posting on his own about him working with Donald Trump and all that. But, if I missed the point, my bad, man. But that's where I'm at with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so from what I heard Ice Cube in terms of voting, I just heard him say he wanted to get something for his vote. I ain't never really heard him pushing don't vote.
Oh, man, I can send you something. I can send you a link.
Yeah.
He ain't outright say, hey, black people don't vote. But he is opposed to this notion that, hey, our people die for this, and you don't have to vote, especially if there's no representation for us as a people. And I just can't get with that, man. I just personally can't get with it.
Please,
if he said you don't have to vote if there's no representation for us as a people, that makes sense to me.
So Kenny, how do we get representation for us as a people? So it's it's like a domino effect. You understand what I'm saying? First and foremost, like we've said,
we're gonna come back to you, E. I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna come back to you, man. I promise. I'm gonna pass this joint to Mark. Did you read or see anything about this week, man? This topic?
Yeah, thanks to y'all. I try not to get too involved in the media and stuff like that, because I just don't believe most of what's being given to the people on the media. So I try, but as far as the platinum plan for Trump, I just, my mindset is somewhere else. I just feel like we as a people need to come up with our own agenda, because it's been proven thus far that the only agenda that they have for us is where we are today. It was their plan. Where we find ourselves today is where they purposed us to be. They actually have meetings and they plan for us to be here, and we're here. So,
Right.
so what I say to that is us voting either party, to me, just say I like this person better than that one, it still lands us getting nothing. It still lands us being where we are today at the end of the day, whichever party you vote for, unless we do what I feel like Ice Cube is trying to do, which is say, hey, this is what we need as a people. And we're gonna, if you need a vote, if you want our vote, then you're gonna have to give us something for it. No longer are we gonna just give away our vote for free. It's called negotiating. And when you're dealing with negotiate, it's an art to that. You know what I'm saying? It's an art, it's a formula to it. Number one, don't be afraid, do not be afraid to tell them to bring to the table exactly what you want. Don't be afraid to ask what you want. That's number one. And I feel like a lot of times we do is we try to figure out, well, they're not going to give us this, they're not going to give us that. So let's come to the table with something less than what we need because it feels like it's reachable. No, that's not the art of negotiating. Let's go to the table and we're going to ask exactly what we want. This is what we want. And we can't be afraid to walk away from the table.
Yes.
If they're not willing to give us what we need and what we're asking for, then hey, we can walk away from the table because we don't owe you a party. We don't owe you our souls, right? Our souls belong to us as a people, not to no party. So what we're going to do is if you don't want us, if you don't see or care enough for us, you know we need it. Look at the state that we're in as a people. So if you're not going to give it to us, hey, I tell you what, then let's go to the other side and see if they're willing to give it to us. Because at the end of the day, who my loyalty is to us, our people, not to no party, not to no politician. I care about my family and my children and my neighbors and my community. That's who my loyalty is. And I would love to care about everybody right now, but everybody don't seem to care about us. So at least we ought to care about ourselves at the end of the day. So I don't have a problem with Ice Cube is doing. We need to do that. I just feel like we need to have an agenda though. We need to basically lay out a plan of what we need. Exactly. Everything of what we need, and we need that. And then when we come to the table, we know exactly this is what we need and this is why we need it. Because this is everything that we have to do. And at the end of the day, to me, I don't need a voice. I don't need the most important thing that we need is economics. We need our money.
100%.
We need our money. That's what we need. We need a check to be cut to us because it's owed to us at the end of the day for many reasons. We talk about reparations. We're direct descendants from the slaves who worked and did not get paid for it. But that's not all. That's not all. I'm not going to get into all of that. But at the end of the day, we're definitely owed the money. And I say, cut us the check. Did I answer everything? Did I answer anything?
Hey, I'm gonna go to you, Ed. Hey,
Yo, bread out there. Man. What up, man?
Glad you was able to come in this week, man. Hey, look, I know you got a chance to sit down with the this whole situation. What's been your thoughts this week, man?
Yo, so I'm gonna touch base on a couple things, man. Before we even talk about that plan, the platinum plan, or on any of that, I want to go back to voting, right? And when we won our rights to vote, it's crazy because I hear all the time people say we never showed out and vote. We never showed out and vote. Well, what happened to those thousands of people that protested and fought to vote You think that after they won, they just was like, oh, we won the vote, right to vote, so we're not going to vote no more. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. To think that we have never voted is absolutely nuts. If you actually go and look at Malcolm X, he has a 4-minute video about the Democratic Party where he tells you they have come out here, enslaved our vote, and we have gotten zero from it. So at the end of the day, when we talk about not voting, it's about not voting for the two-party system, because neither of those systems are going to ever benefit us. It's a ploy. It's always going to be one against the other, and we're always going to be at the bottom of it. We're only going to be here to get votes, and then we're going to be disregarded. So when it comes to voting, that's where I think that voting independent for as Black individuals becomes more important, because if we can, as a Black community, if we can go in here and say, damn, they moved the independent vote from being 2.5%, 3% to 25%. That's a huge lift, and there's someone's going to pay attention to that, and someone's going to look. We're not getting any attention because our votes are being manipulated. So that's the first thing that we have to look at. When it comes down to it, no party, the Democratic or Republican, is ever going to be for us. It's just never going to be aligned that way, and for us to think that it's going to happen is just foolish. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to start off with. That. The second thing is the Platinum Plan. I think that it took guts for Ice Cube to come out, because you know what? At the end of the day, he was told he's a sellout. He did this. But why did it take a artist to come out there and do that? All these politicians that we have that are so-called Black activists, we could have done this. Dr. Cornel West could have done this at any point. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't he step out? You know what I'm saying? We have people that have much more education and structure into doing this that don't step out. And that's the problem, is we look at stuff and say, oh, we're just going to vote for this and we're going to vote for that. So I think that we need to start focusing on where we place our votes. I think Mark hit it right on the head, though. We need economic value. If you look at it, Asian people, Arabs, you don't hear people going and trying to push for their votes. Why? Because they don't care. When the recession hit with Bush, they didn't care. Their community was straight. The only communities that were effective was the Black community and the white community. And the white community was pretty much like, okay, we're going to just do what we do because we have a leg to stand on. The Black community was pretty much SOL. So in order for anything to matter, we have to have financial structure. We have to have our own communities. We have to have our own banks, and we have to start investing into it. We have to start going out here and looking and say, fuck Wells Fargo, fuck Nations Bank, and look at where your Black banks are at and start putting money into that, and then go out here and start getting Black loans and building those things up. That's what's going to get our vote the respect that we need. So that's just how I feel. As far as the Platinum Plan, it's not good for us. It's not. I just commend Ice Cube for coming out and having the guts to do that, but it's not really for us. But I think it showed real big when the Democratic Party basically said, no, we're not even going to really listen to it. And the Republican Party had to be like, yeah, we're going to at least. So I think that shows a lot. But at the end of the day, Trump don't do nothing for us. Trump don't give a shit about us, really. And neither does Biden. It's all a political ploy to gain votes.
Yeah, I want to say that we all realize that the Platinum Plan is Trump's plan, and that he listened to some of the what Ice Cube felt like should have been incorporated in it, and took a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. You know what I mean? It's not Ice Cube's plan.
Right. So, but I'm saying that it took him to go out there and do it. As far as touching on Mark real quick,
I just wanted to clarify that, joint. Yeah, I feel the same way. I agree totally, man. Anybody, man, let's be real about something real quick. If you can, let's be Ice Cube for a second, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This man stepped out in front of his community, and a lot of people going to have whatever motives they think they had, or he have, or whatever they think his mentality was when he did it. None of us really know. I know it's gutsy. I know he's never shown me nothing but love for his community. I have absolutely no reason to believe that for some reason that's not the case today. I have no reason to believe that, so I'm not just going to believe that just because. So for him to step forward and he could be 100% wrong. I could be 100% wrong. Let's push that aside. Let's talk about some of these men passion, man, because there are a lot of people that ain't doing nothing. They not doing nothing.
Dr. Cornel West.
You know what I'm saying?
I follow West.
Man,
I follow West. I listen to him all the time.
This man is stepping out, facing a community that I'm gonna have to think that he loves, and knew when he did it that he was gonna get the backlash that he's getting, but he feels so sincere about what he's doing. And you can't do nothing but respect that, whether he's 100% wrong or right. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to forget that as I move on to my brother Dre Wallace. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, man?
What's been your thoughts on this situation, man? On this sticky situation, man? What's been your thoughts, bro?
I've been taking notes this whole time, what everybody's saying, what everybody's talking about. First thing I want to do is we need some clarification. Ice Cube already had a plan. Ice Cube came up with Contract for Black America. He already had a plan. Now, is this the one he presented to the Biden campaign as well as the Trump campaign? I don't know. I'm assuming if Ice Cube came to the politicians, he would bring his own plan. Don't that make sense? I don't think he would go to the politicians and say to both campaigns, hey, do you have a plan? Because if you do, I want to join on. Do you have a plan? If you do, I want to join on. I'm thinking that, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking that Ice Cube presented his Contract for Black America to both parties. And the Biden campaign didn't tell him, no, we don't want to take that up. They said, we will address it after the election. Now, you can look at that twofold. What good would it do the Biden campaign to address a plan that they didn't have a plan for? He has a 22-page contract with Black America. It's in depth. It has some controversial issues. It talks about reparations. It talks about racial insensitivity training in schools. It talks about just changing the whole school curriculum and gearing it towards what we would call truth, as opposed to his story. Now, had Biden and Kamala Harris say, hey, yeah, come on, Ice Cube, jump on and let's push this plan, it would be a problem. It would be a problem for them to do that before they even elected. Again, Trump had this platinum plan. Trump has his platinum plan, and I had it pulled up on my computer. My problem with the whole thing, well, Ice Cube and even getting involved in Trump's platinum plan outside of his plan for Black America is because Trump's platinum plan is pretty much what Ed and Mark talk about. You're just trying to get our votes. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. When you go into negotiations, like someone said, when you go into negotiations, you're going in with someone and you're looking for something that's genuine. Let me tell you why Trump isn't genuine on this topic. First of all, Donald Trump will not utter the words Black Lives Matter because of a portion of his base. Donald Trump said that the movement for Black Lives Matter is evil. His words, not mine. Donald Trump has spent his whole 4 years trying to undo what the first Black president in the history of the United States have done, because obviously it irks him. And Donald Trump has had every opportunity to fulfill a promise that he made to his base, Middle America, for infrastructure. But if you really look at the workings in Congress, when it came time for infrastructure to come around, instead of pushing his promise for infrastructure, Donald Trump pushed tax cuts for the rich. Donald Trump lets you know where his head, where his mind lies. Let me read you something from his plan. This is Donald Trump's platinum plan, and I'm reading verbatim from the plan. He has 4 staples: opportunity, security, prosperity, and fairness. 3 million for new jobs for Black community. That's cool. Creating 500,000 new Black-owned businesses. That sounds good. But I want to get to something. Bring better and tailored health care to address historic disparities. That's a staple of the Donald Trump plan. So in that Donald Trump plan, he's saying that historically, Blacks have disparities in healthcare. All right.
That's true, though.
Immigration policies that protect American jobs. Now, remember, Donald Trump always said that the jobs that immigrants do were the grunge jobs. And he always says that they're coming to take these jobs away. So basically, he's telling you, well, you know, y'all probably gonna pick apples or work in the field. Advanced home ownership opportunities and enhanced financial literacy in the Black community. I mean, we all for financial literacy. Some of these things, what I'm trying to say is, when Donald Trump was asked the question, was there a systemic racism problem in America? He looked right in the camera and said no. Donald Trump doesn't believe that there's a systemic racism problem in America, yet in his platinum plan that he's pushing to you, that he's trying to get your vote for, he's listing at least 4 or 5 things that entail systemic racism. Again, I go back. I like to negotiate with someone.
Hold on. I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to say this, Dre. Emphasizing that point is to say that you think that Biden has some type of sincere interest about the Black community or anything he has in his plan. Because you keep saying that, like, all those points might be true, but you saying it like that ain't the case for Biden, though.
And look,
I didn't
Biden actually has a quote. Look,
I didn't say anything about Biden. The only thing I said about the Biden campaign is my thoughts on why they didn't take on the contract with Black America. I'm talking about the man that's sitting in the White House now. I'm talking about the man that Ice Cube is taking all his flack for by getting tied in with him. And again, you're right, Ice Cube's intentions are pure. But what I'm telling you is Ice Cube turned himself into a show pony, because that's all that this contract, that this platinum plan is. It's a show pony. Everyone that spoke so far has already spoke of us putting our vote out there, not getting nothing back. Mark spoke of, you know, they had meetings. I mean, it's documented.
See, you read the summary of it, though. It gets more detailed in the platinum plan. It's right here. I was reading that. You read the summary. If you go here, it gets more detailed, like fueling access to capital or Black-owned businesses and so forth and so on. And they have actual, like, you know, what the plan is. You know what I mean?
I got the plan up on my computer. I'm looking right at it.
Right.
I was just giving the overview of the pillars of the plan. I mean,
right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, because you were saying it sounded like Ice Cube was just being shuffled off with a bunch of crap. I was saying
no, I didn't say that.
There's some detail to it because I had that discussion with somebody this week, man, and I was like, man, to say that Ice Cube got spun around by Donald Trump is to say that he's not that bright of a man, and he didn't go in there with lawyers, and those are things I'm not prepared to assume.
But Kenny, this is what you gotta understand. This is what you gotta understand.
I agree. On both sides. Huh?
I'm not disparaging Ice Cube at all. What I'm telling you is, in this instance, 2 weeks before the polls open, he's a show pony. Because what I'm telling you is the plan that he has is not the platinum plan. It's totally different. Ice Cube, look up the contract with Black America, juxtapose it for the platinum plan. It's totally different. It's totally different. Donald Trump will not sit on that stump and say anything about reparations. Donald Trump will not sit on that stump and say anything about racial insensitivity training. He won't do that. That's Ice Cube's plan. Ice Cube is being pushed out in front of the Platinum Plan, which is Donald Trump's plan. And again, I go back to what Mark said. We're dealing with the same people that is documented in meetings when they talk about how to destroy our communities. The politicians from the Johnson campaign to the Nixon campaign, from the Nixon cabinet, how to destroy our community. And that's what they were trying to do. And it never stopped. So, some people say, well, you looking for the handout from the people that's trying to kill you or they're trying to destroy you. Maybe so. But I'm telling you that this Platinum Plan coming out at this time, at this moment in time, how come we didn't hear about the Platinum Plan before we heard about tax cuts for the rich? How come we didn't hear about
that's a good point. That's a point that no one can argue.
No.
That all of this
nobody
is for show.
How come we didn't hear about the political plan when we were hearing about every day about the caravan coming up from South America that was going to destroy our country? How come we didn't hear about it then? How come now that that this guy's down in the polls? Oh well, I got a Platinum Plan for Black America. Donald Trump is, Joe Biden is racist. I'm gonna be the one to bring you out. And what I don't like is the aspect that they always shoot at us. Well, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to get your guys out of prison, and I'm going to make sure that sentencing disparities are lifted. Yes and true, but stop acting like that's the only thing that we care about. Stop acting like that's the only thing that's going to make the Black community grow. Someone said earlier, we need to do stuff for ourselves. I think we're looking for a national solution to a local problem. And I think we all can go through every presidency in our adult lives, and we can sit there and get a piece of paper and write down, what did that presidency do for you? How did that presidency make you better? And I think it goes back to our local politicians, our state politicians, because they're the ones that are going to have to get that money and distribute it.
I'm gonna say this though, man. What'd you say, Dre?
I didn't say anything.
No, hey, Kenny,
Yeah.
did you take a look at that video that I tagged you in with Dr. Shiva?
Who's this? E?
Ed.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Did you take a look at that video I tagged you in with Dr. Shiva on Facebook?
Nah.
I tagged you in a video, man. When you get a chance, about 40 minutes long, man. It's actually talking about the vote and how it contrasts to everything, man. Just take a look at it, man. It's definitely worth it. But you should definitely share it as well. You know what I'm saying? But definitely look at it, and I'd love to hear what you think. What you think about it.
40 minutes. That's a lunch hour.
Bet. When I got 40 minutes, I'm gonna sit down and watch that.
Hey, that's $400 right there.
Yeah. Tell them again. So the last thing I want to touch on, Kenny,
$100 a minute, goddammit.
Kenny, the last thing I want to touch on is Ed made a comment about, we need to seek out Black banks and put our money in Black banks. We've had Black banks for decades. Part of the community's problem, again, I don't want to have to keep going back to what Mark said, because Mark always speaks to the community, is the love. We don't love ourselves enough to take our money to a Black bank.
Yep.
Agree.
I
agree.
mean, I think, all of these people on this panel, all of us, I think all of you guys are conscious. I love all you guys. I love your energy. I love your direction. But I don't think any of us bank at a Black bank. And there are Black banks out here.
I do.
I have my savings in a Black bank.
I own a Black bank. But
no, Industrial Bank is actually in DC. That's the one I use.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's down the street from my house. That's trifling. I ain't shit. So damn.
And Killer Mike just created an online bank with The
Mhm.
great interest rates.
Yeah,
Great rate.
Great.
and I think
Great
I
interest rate.
think
A lot of it is people don't know though too, Andre. It's not like it's not like they are making a sound decision where they're choosing over it. I believe that. I believe that's the case in a lot of cases. I do, but not always. Some
But
people just don't know.
but
You know what I mean?
Kenny,
And
Kenny, you know what though? It goes back to black business. And I saw a quote the other day where you can sell a water for $1 and they'll go buy it somewhere for $3 because you didn't sell it to them for 50 cents. You know what I'm saying?
That was
And that's how our community
Yeah.
does. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
I posted that.
that's the problem with our community. We want to walk into everybody, and just because we feel like, oh, we family, I deserve a discount from that. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy. But then you go to the Asian corner store or the Middle Eastern corner store, you don't ask for that. You sit there and pay whatever they want you to pay. And that's where our problem is. We don't have the love for each other, like Andre was saying.
Yeah. Hey,
I
Al, what's up?
purposely go into white establishments and try to negotiate prices all the time.
Message.
Just for that reason.
Message.
Yo.
Hey, Albert. What's up, brother, man?
Now, honestly, State, before you say something, I think you should go to Devon because he got all of those different plans kind of phased up, and I know Reverend Drayton is ready to preach.
I need to go at the end because my stuff gonna take more than what we got.
But then let me say this. Well,
Fire.
I'm sorry, Kenny. My
It's
bad.
going
Go ahead.
what?
My stuff gonna take up longer than what we've already done because I don't have too much to talk about. I got some actual reading to do.
Okay.
Well, I can go.
All right, go ahead, man.
Okay. All right. So this topic is, it feels like it's crucial. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It feels crucial that we're speaking about this because we're just close to election. So I don't want to, it's like almost serious the way we position ourselves here because it just feels like it's like life or death the way we talk about this. So, but I don't think it's that serious. So we're talking about a platinum plan, which Trump came out with recently, which I think it sounds great for our people, but when I read it, it's not in depth enough. I don't see a lot of ways to get us to where we need to go. This is just not enough stuff here. It's like a summary. And I agree with Dre with all of Trump's actions and all of the things he's had the opportunity to do at this point to back Black America, to position himself to even speak up for Black America and all the things that have happened to us. I haven't seen him do it one time. I've seen him say that systematic oppression doesn't exist. His base said that. So with that being said, I don't see how these points could help Black America. Like he just said, that if it doesn't exist, then this stuff right here doesn't need to exist as well, right? So I don't see this happening. I just really don't. The next part, either way, no party has ever represented us. That's a fact. We are where we are. Nobody has gotten us to any place. They just have not, except for the place that we sit today, which is on purpose. The policies that they put in place over the years, they have us here on purpose. This is their plan. So that's both parties, that's all parties, that's America, that's where we're supposed to be. The question is, how do we get out of this? I don't know what the answer is. I don't think any of us know what the answer is. I know we all have opinions. I just don't know what the answer is. I do feel like, people stabbing at Ice Cube or whoever a leader is. I think we spend so much time eating each other up again because this is what America has us doing. I think we're in a shitty place and we constantly beat each other up because of the position we're in. We don't have any economic power. And if we don't get that, I don't care how many banks that are Black we can put $1 in. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough opportunity. We don't have enough resources. I don't know what the answer is, but I've read Ice Cube's plan, and at least it's a plan. People beat us up for doing this podcast. Everybody has an opinion about who's supposed to lead them or represent them, and I'm not listening to them because look at what they're doing. What are you doing? I think we need to come together as a people, and we need to try to figure out what we can do as a people, and maybe team up with some other people like Hispanic people, and figure out a plan how we can build ourselves together because ultimately the crappiest jobs on earth are coming our way for both for Hispanic people and for Black people. And it's one thing that's not going to happen. They're not going to do these jobs. They don't want to do certain jobs. Why don't we just charge them for the job that they don't want to do and just fix all this? I don't care what the jobs are that they don't want to do. We're going to end up doing crappy stuff. Why don't we just come together and leverage that and build ourselves up? Because they're not going to give, I just don't feel like they're going to give us any of this stuff. I don't see it. We can argue all day long, Republican, Democrat. I just don't see them handing us over the stuff that we're asking for right now. Obviously, a Black vote is important. Whoever said don't vote, if we didn't need to vote, then they wouldn't have these Black plans out. Obviously, some voting needs to happen, and that's why these little plans are shooting our way. This is divisive. Do vote, otherwise it wouldn't be a plan. If Trump didn't need you to vote, then he wouldn't have came up with a few sentences for you. And the same for Biden. Devon is going to speak to Biden's plan. I didn't get to read it, but I just feel like we are in still the same place. We still have no answer. We're still all divided. We still don't have any economic power. And until we get that, all of this arguing and bickering is not going to help us either way. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
I'm hearing people agree that both sides don't really have our interests, at heart or vested interests at heart, or our communities aren't really that important to both sides. But I'm only hearing it being like thrown at Trump's administration about it, though. So that's what I'm trying. I don't understand. So if we're agreeing that both sides suck, but we're not going to vote for Trump, though. I'm missing how that makes sense.
Can I speak to that?
Go ahead, Rand.
Okay, so first of all, I don't think you heard that people were not going to vote for Trump. I don't think anybody here said who they're voting for specifically. Maybe they insinuated. But for my personal self, I can just tell you that some of the things that are happening in the last 4 years, I have never seen historically by any other president. All this hate, all this division, all the power that other parties feel like they have almost just unleashed on Black people. I don't think we've seen that. All the fear that they're instilling in people. I just feel like I just want this out of the office just so we can get back to a peaceful place, so we can speak to someone calmly about our agenda. The other party has absolutely.
Let me say something. I want to address that.
Okay, who is that?
Mike, because
Mike,
that's what we're witnessing. But you got to realize Trump's a clown, like Eric Rain said. Trump ain't the first clown that's been a president. We had Ronald Reagan. We had other presidents that were clowns. And if you're talking about what Trump is doing as far as racism, think about what J. Edgar Hoover was doing, following Black people, following Martin Luther King. Look at what your man Tricky Dick. Like, we've always had fucked up presidents. It's not the president that we got to be worried about. It's at your local and state level. I think a couple weeks ago we was talking about Idaho, what people was doing in Idaho and people doing it in Georgia. Don't give a fuck. So when you try and make the president seem like we got to give a fuck about the president, it's not that serious. The presidency is not the serious thing. It's your senators, your congressmen, your local affiliations. So if people are going back and forth and getting all this misinformation and misdirection, it's about the dollar at the end of the day and creating your own society to make a change. If we pool our money together and come together as a people, we can't be stopped. But we too scared to do that. That's why we argue about Democrat and Republican. Neither one of them give a shit about us at all. But your local and state congressmen do. Your local and state senator do. You know why? Because they go in there and write all the bills. They go in there and make the actual change. All the president do is push the button. So stop making it about Republican, Democrat presidency. It's not about the presidency at all. That's what I'm saying. When you say you ain't never seen this much division, this ain't shit compared to what people had to go through in the 40s, 30s, 50s. Ain't shit compared to that.
The 60s. The 60s. Yeah, the 60s.
It's nothing compared to that at all.
And this is my question. This is what I want to add to that. I want to add something real quick. With the racism, do you think that Trump brought that racism in, or it was something that was already in this country that was just swept under the rug that we were just overlooking?
Been here.
Like
It's been here.
Right. I asked the question.
Since we
I asked the
integrated
question.
with them motherfuckers.
Do you like your white supremacy blatant or incognito? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's all it is. Trump is out here blatant with it, and Biden's out here like, oh no, I love everybody, but I'm gonna screw you in that back end. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but you look, Mike, you made a great point. It's not about the presidency, but it is about our senators. But it's still a Republican and Democrat thing. We have to still look at that party, regardless of in the Senate, the Congress, wherever. They're never going to be for us.
So the question is, Brandon, do you like how you like your racism? Blatant or under the
incognito?
How you like your
our
racism?
racism?
I like to know what I'm dealing with up front and personal.
Exactly.
So I can say exactly what's up. Oh, okay. Now I know what's up.
Hey, listen. I went to an event this weekend.
Hold on, because I'm trying to I'm trying to keep it together, man. I'm trying to keep it together.
I was on point. I was on point.
Hey, how you like your racism? Me and you done talked about that a lot, man. How you like your racism, man?
Like I like my women, nasty and up front. Nah. I hear what everyone is
you
saying.
need to elaborate on that, young man.
Hey, it's personal after dark.
Please don't.
When it comes to all of these different plans and all that different stuff, I personally don't want any government plan. I don't want the government to have a plan for me and people who look like me. I don't want the government to have that much power where they can enforce a plan for me. So fuck both the plans. I do agree that no matter what any of them say, it'll never pass the House. It'll never pass the Senate, and will never get signed regardless of who's in office. When people say, huh?
Just talking points. That's it.
Yeah. When people sit there and say, well, Trump had 3.5 years, damn near 4 years to deal with this. Why is he just bringing it up now? And they failed to mention the fact that Biden had 8 years as vice president.
You hit mute. You muted.
You muted yourself. You muted yourself on the good part.
No, I think his plan said he can't talk.
Yeah, I apologize about that. I got a phone call. But people never talk about how much time Biden has and how directly responsible he was, as well as
Clinton,
as well as Senator Harris. You know what I'm saying? All of these people, they were there a while, so to sit there and say that their hands are clean in it as well, that's kind of like, I don't know, stupid. When people talk about Ice Cube and whether you think he was fucked up for going to the president, regardless of who the president is, and whether he's right or wrong, it doesn't matter who your president is. He's your president. Barack Obama is what y'all like to call him. I almost said it. Barack Obama was the president, whether you liked him or not. Before that, it was Bush, whether you liked him or not, whether you voted for him or not. Trump is your president now. You are fucking stupid if you're not going to go to your president when your people are getting killed, when you're not getting the opportunities that you need, when you're supposed to go regardless of who's there. So, and that's the shit that pisses me off. Oh, he racist, he's Donald this and da-da-da. You shouldn't talk. You're stupid. Talk whoever, he's responsible for those things. And if Biden wins, he'll be the president. And if when he wins and he dies, then oh God.
Oh shit.
What I'm saying. We will be looked at as the weakest nation.
You've been reading.
That's a whole nother conversation. But
you've been doing your homework.
That's how I feel about the people responding to Ice Cube talking to any president. The other point I wanted to touch on is the fact that you had people like D.L. Hughley, you had people like all across the spectrum, you know what I'm saying? The woke folk talk about how fucked up Ice Cube was and how he's just a rapper and he's supposed to make films. And those are the same niggas that was all in their feeling when that white broad told LeBron James to shut up and dribble. So he talking about Ice Cube. Back in the 80s, it was fuck the police.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, it was fuck the police. And now I'm supposed to listen to a nigga that tell jokes? And I'm not saying D.L. Hughley doesn't have a point. You know what I'm saying? I hate when people say that. He's a this, she's a that. They should not. If you have a social security number, you have the right to say whatever is on your mind. And then we have the right to have our opinion on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's kind of like the last point that I wanted to make. But as far as either one, I don't want the government to have a plan for me. And then that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, Devon, I think we are ready for your election.
Hey, can I respond to Alpha real quick before Devon tear the stage down?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think a lot of people, I don't think it's the fact that Ice Cube talked to a president. I don't think the fact that he talked to a representative. I think one, it's the timing. Two, and it's this president, and it's a stunt. We know it's a stunt by this president. You can't tell me that you think that Donald Trump is genuine about this platinum plan for the Black community when we're just hearing about it in October of an election year.
Hey,
where was this plan last year?
Dre.
If he was smart, as soon as this George Floyd stuff came out, he'd be like, hey, hold on. This is what I got for y'all. This is what we're going to do.
You don't give a fuck.
Hey, man, is my mic muted or something? Man, I've been trying to talk for 10 minutes.
Now we can hear you. Go ahead.
We can hear you now.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was saying right before Dre jumped in, I wanted to clarify something too, Alfred, because I just want to make sure what I was saying earlier was not misconstrued in any way. Because I personally don't have a problem with Ice Cube or any other celebrity.
I wasn't talking about you directly.
I know, but I'm just saying, me personally, I don't have a problem with any one of our people, jumping out there and trying to do something, like you said. But my point was more along the lines of what Tweet just said as well. Like, where was this effort at? And not that it even had to be on him. I'm talking about any of our people. Like, where was this effort at before? Like, even just a year ago, even a year into Trump's presidency, when we see all this madness taking place. I understand it ain't just on a person like Ice Cube to do it. I mean, I don't even know how savvy he is from politically. You know what I mean? There's other people, other Black representatives that are much more politically savvy.
Man, that man is a U.S. citizen. He has the right to put together a plan and put that forward.
I agree with that.
Especially if ain't nobody else stepping up to do it. But my point is, man, people need to understand that. I mean, don't set yourself out there to be a pawn, though, and really believe that somebody is racist and is big. This dude Donald Trump has there's nothing in his spirit, in his being, that wants to help Black America, bro. You got to see that.
So what?
We know that.
Please understand this point. Do I think Donald Trump is a racist? Honestly, I don't think he cares enough about niggas to hate him. Period.
Thank you.
That's my honest opinion about Donald Trump.
Thank you.
Do I think Joe Biden is a racist? I think he's probably a little bit more racist because he will actually use niggas and manipulate. But that's a whole other thing. Donald Trump is the president now. Even if he loses the election from November 4th till January 20th, he will still be the president.
Hey,
and to sit there and say that he can't do certain shit, well, that's not true. He can. That'll have a direct
this is the last thing. This is the last thing for me. This is the last thing for me, because I know Devon been patiently waiting. But my thing is, if somebody mentioned something about Trump being in office, and you Alfred, you was like, all right, not Trump, but Obama. Joe Biden had 8 years to do it. Kamala Harris, whatever. Man, do you know that Obama had a world record?
Cut your screen on.
No, let him finish.
What? No, cut your screen on. We flashing to you and your screen's black.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I forgot I had But do y'all know
I'm
that
surprised his
Obama?
face ain't lighted up.
Never. Hey, turn the screen off. Never mind.
Oh my God, Teen Wolf out here, Michael J. Fox.
Do y'all know
In the
that
flesh.
Obama had the most in presidential history filibusters against him? Do you know how many times he was blocked from trying to pass things for us, for this country? Period.
Mhm.
Does any?
Yeah.
But he never.
USA.
You can
Yeah.
never pinpoint something he tried to pass for black people.
Period.
Right.
Never.
There was nothing he
Never.
tried to
And this
pass
my
for
thing.
black people. He tried to do more for
When
gays
did
than
he
he
ever
did for
speak
black
up?
people any day of the week.
So, anyways, my point is this again, man. I mean, we could sit here and see. So that's the thing, though, man. People forget that Obama was America's president and not black people. And but the thing about it is, not to say he shouldn't,
He
not to
was-
say he shouldn't have
He was
tried.
gay America's president.
But
Hey,
listen,
don't you? Trump is America's president.
listen,
And then the
man.
next president will be America's president. And after that, and after that, after that.
So here's my thing, man. Which one of y'all really believe that Obama would have got out of the White House alive had he tried to do any of the stuff that Trump is doing right now in terms of how he bullying the whole country and bullying his way through office and all of that? Obama
He'd
could
have
never.
Then you don't
He'd
take
be-
that.
he'd
Then
be-
you don't
he'd be
take that
thrown under the
responsibility.
jail.
Then you don't. Then you don't take that
Thank you.
responsibility. I mean,
Yeah.
do you think Malcolm X and Martin Luther King thought they were going to come out alive? They knew they were going to die, but yet they still did what they did. If you're not up for the task, then you don't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Message.
If you're not going to sit there and you can't fucking.
I think half of y'all. Look, man. I think half of us. I'll say us as a people are. It's just, to me personally, man. It's a crabs in the barrel mentality, man. Just like Alfred was saying about Ice Cube, people coming for Ice Cube about, why is he doing this? Why he doing that? It's the same thing with President Obama, man. Without any real due diligence, man, people just started to trash this, man. What did he do to black people? Tell me one thing he tried to do.
That's not my
Bruh,
biggest problem.
y'all ain't been on
But
the
I know
floor.
people do
Y'all
that.
ain't been on the floor. Listen, man, y'all ain't been on the floor to see how many laws this man done tried to pass, and he got filibustered out of them. And if you go look up a filibuster and see how many he had against him, Alfred, hit me out. Go look. Matter of fact, I'll do it.
Are you talking about after he pushed the Affordable Care Act when he
Bruh,
had
I'm
the
talking
House,
about
the
throughout.
Senate,
I'm talking about.
and the Congress?
I'm
Or you talking about when he lost the Senate and lost the House?
I'm talking about throughout his presidency, period, bro.
Throughout his first 2 years,
I can't give you the timing
he
on
had the
them all.
presidency, he had the Senate, and he had the House. The very first bill he did, no problem, was the Lilly Ledbetter Act. And that's got women, because they was getting paid 80 cents on the dollar. So that helped out women. Then he did some whole little stuff about, then he focused on the Dreamers Act. He focused on, and then he focused on the Affordable Care Act. And he walked all that. He changed healthcare. So to sit there and say that he had his hands tied behind his back is a goddamn fucking lie.
Yeah, you know what?
It didn't benefit me. It hindered me. The ACA hindered me. I
believe that as well. But that's the shit that he did. He had the opportunity to do whatever he wanted. when black people were shot down in a church, he went and sung Amazing Grace. When I'm not gonna. I don't want this conversation to get on. Because I want you to think that I think Trump is a great president. Trump is someone that I recognize what he is for what he is. Even when he's lying to my face, he's telling me the truth. I don't think the other party does that. Plus, I don't agree with most of the policies that the other party has, which is the biggest reason. But that's a whole nother conversation. All I'm saying is, in these two plans, I don't want either party to have a plan for anyone who looks like you or me. If we get together and have a plan, great. That's what the Jews do. You think Jewish people will sit there and say, okay, let the government have a plan for us?
Right.
They did Arabs do the same thing.
But that's
the Middle East do the same thing.
Hey, good shit, Al. Hey, Devon, go ahead and chime in, man, and read to us what it is you wanted to read, brother.
All right, well, my purpose for actually writing it is because, as we can see, we be all over the place when we actually have these conversations. But I actually been working on this probably a week and a half before we actually went to this. So here we go. Like I said, I don't have too much to actually say. I'm going to read it, but this is my op-ed, not really touching on the plan. It's touching about Ice Cube. Mr. O'Shea Jackson comes at us with nothing but positive intentions. Mr. F. the Police set the tone for urban youth with his truthful and scathing lyrics in the early 90s, delivering substance, facts, and a clear as day view of the Black experience. I in no way see his involvement in this year's political arena as a stunt to deter Black vote, similar to Mr. College Dropout, AKA Mr. Louis Vuitton Don Kanye West, but that's a different subject. This is different, to put it in the words of Scott Woods, a writer and contributor at The Level, an online urban blog, who I will reference often during this writing. Ice Cube isn't winning at chess, he's losing at poker. Mr. West goes on to state, Ice Cube is attempting to do something very noble. He wants concrete political change for Black people in real time in exchange for Black people's support at the polls in 2 weeks. This, at the core, is what Ice Cube is speaking to without the political jargon. The cut to the chase version is the cut to the chase version, if you will. Chess, to some, can be viewed as a perfect game. I, for years, have felt that Republicans have played chess while Democrats have played checkers. As it relates to my previous feelings about the two parties, I was compelled to read more into Mr. Woods' point of view. Chess is a thinking man's game that requires players to plan ahead and foresee its opponent's next moves. To quote Mr. Woods, who uses chess as a metaphor, the more you unpack the game, the more you realize that Cube is no Bobby Fischer and that he isn't playing chess at all. He's playing poker, and poorly. Cube stated that he took his plan to both parties, but only the Republicans took it, and lo and behold, rebranded it as the Trump Platinum Plan, in which $500 billion towards what we might as well see as reparations platforms, dressed up with political makeup in the form of an IOU, a post-dated imaginary check. The deal, if that's what you choose to call it, is where I call bullshit, but not as loudly as I do when I ask, where was Cube 2 to 4 years ago? I fully understand when people ask, why now? Why not begin this process well before 22 million people have cast a ballot? Why now does he see this appropriate time? I have to ask where this contract was years ago in the beginning of this administration 4 years ago. I go on to say they are asking for now what they could have asked for 4 years ago. He quickly points out the Republicans were the ones who responded, which in fact, like many topics, the Democrat candidates stated that after their election, they would gladly like to come to the table and discuss. Besides the fact many of these items mentioned in Cube's document were actually mentioned on the Biden-Harris website, and Sister April Ryan of CNN pointed out to him when she spoke with him on August 24th on her station. Democrats know how grimy politics can be. Remember what they did to Barack? To rock the boat now for the potential of on-the-fence voters would be shooting its own campaign in the foot. That move alone would negate all the efforts to this point to win the votes and keep them. This would be exactly what the chess playing Republicans would hope for. Before we go any further, let's keep this in mind. This should be about systematic racism, not about the election. I'd like to point out in September, Citibank Group did some research and released this information. Racism has cost the country $800 billion per year. Yeah, since 2000. Yeah, you heard that correct. 800 billion. The grand total of $16 trillion. No need to count, that's 12 zeros. After the 16, for those that's keeping track. So this post-dated check they promise comes up a few zeros short for what we actually do. And to use it in the words of Smokey, this ain't enough. The two glaring problems in this check is it's a one shot, one kill type of deal. It does not allow for the group to come back to the table for an increase. Some may see it as you get what you get and you get what you deserve type of deal. It also is not exclusively a deal for Black people. It's for anyone who wants to benefit from the government initiative, which means a non-Black business could receive funds for opening shop in a Black community without no requirements to hire anyone from that said community. Cube could be writing checks for votes he can't deliver because he has no political capital or leverage. Republicans will call Cube's bluff in the end because Cube has no leverage, but has guaranteed votes or else. And I can tell you right now, as it is, as his plan is, that plan would not get my vote. Number one, Cube is not an elected official to even be eligible for a vote to get on the floor. All this to possibly deliver a small fraction of Black votes, the Black male vote. And on that note, let's pull over and park for a second because you heard that right, the Black male vote. There's a growing number of Black women, maybe a minority, who feel Cube's contract leaves out the needs of Black women, viewing it, and I quote, arrogant, paternalistic, dangerous, and saying instead of hitting the ground running, he needed to hit the ground reading. I just lost my place. He needed to hit the ground reading. There are women who feel Black men in our quest for overwhelmingly supporting, there's Black women who feel in our quest for the proximity to white men's power, we leave Black women in the dust to fend for themselves. It's why the Say Her Name movement had to be created in 2015, specifically because the narrative of Black Lives Matter was centered on Black men and boys as the primary victims of police brutality and killings. When Black women, trans women, and girls are also members of the same unfortunate club. And his plan does not include their needs, just lump theirs automatically into the needs of Black men. Don't shoot me, I'm only the messenger. But for sure thing, this is a very big issue for some Black women in our community. Now let's get back to the votes. The votes serve as a buy-in. So he brings in 2 to 3 chips to the table. Everyone else at the table has unlimited credit. The people at the table are white Americans and the Republicans. The key thing that I've mentioned so far is that Cube doesn't really have enough chips to truly buy in. Cube is a businessman with a keen eye for art, talent, and entertainment, but has 0 chips in the political arena, which is a nastier business, which is with more terrible deals than any record contract Cube has ever signed. Cube is not an elected official, has no political equity, and brings nothing to the table more than a popular name, classic films, and albums, equaling no political capital or leverage, which is what politics is about, and the ability to get people's ear. And in today's social media area we live in, create buzz, discussion, and for some that are uninformed, doubt. Cube doesn't come with 6 senators, 3 lobbyists to push his plan through. I've taken the time over the last 4 days to read the 21-page version of the contract with Black people and Trump's platinum plan, which at face value, for taking to both sides, there's nothing in this plan that would hold Trump accountable. First, being that he only is interested in our vote for the election. There's nothing displayed in Trump's public reputation over the last four years, and most importantly, his political reputation, that leads me to believe that he will follow through. Starting with this bill, which would have to go through Congress, and we see how good old boy Mitch McConnell conducts business in the Senate. I personally see Cube as nothing but more than a prop, a political puppet, having his already aforementioned good intentions being dragged into the swamp this administration swore to claim to be draining. To directly quote Mr. Woods in his analogy of chess and poker, the biggest difference in the 2 games is what's missing. Namely, it's stakes. In chess, you play to win. In poker, you play to win money. If Trump loses, Black people have nothing. If Trump wins, we still have nothing because Trump doesn't ever pay for anything. For a deal of this magnitude to occur, it would have to be ratified through Congress. And in order for Congress to even consider, it's going to have to occur by votes. And you get that with having bargaining chips. Yeah, we could think our votes are ultimate bargaining chip, which we could have been very important, as I mentioned before, 2 years ago, when we could have brought our bargaining chips to the vote and votes to the table in local and state elections. I mentioned a few weeks back that there's nothing wrong with our aim, but we got to change the target. Well, Q, 2 weeks before the most important election of our time is not the time to start shooting and possibly shooting yourself in the process. While speaking to the president can be viewed as an important moment, the real work should be done elsewhere, as in Congress and Senate, as I stated a few seconds ago. The building of political capital for his cause can be best built with patience and well thought out strategy. Not to say this isn't well thought out, but I take nothing from Q's work. But we are talking DC politics here. And to quote Mr. Woods again, Q's bully pulpit will never see the light of day in Republican-owned Congress. In poker, you would be able to fold and walk away without having lost much. Unfortunately, in this sense, you still have something at stake. You still have to have something to sit at the table. And in this instance, that is the Black well-being. Cube got deep pockets, but that's a serious check to write in a year of the election, where voter suppression is at an all-time high in some ways compared to the civil rights era. I find Mr. Woods' analogy of the two games coming to life each day as we get closer to the election. Because let's be honest, that's what it's truly about, the election. He goes on to say to consider this administration's hand. His campaign is using Ice Cube's name like a gang truce that is never going to happen. Because during his campaign, he has done nothing but race bait to incite unrest in the country if he loses. If you think for 1 second his true faithful base will continue to back him for making such a promise and agree with Black America, you should surely think again. He will choose them over us. Many of these same individuals would much rather see us dead. Same individuals have played a role in the very things we are fighting for in this day, support Donald Trump. Me personally, I need to know where was the vote that elected entertainers as the Speaker of the House for Blackness. I see too often that our voice comes from athletes and entertainers, and then not us that having to deal with the everyday crisis that we live in here in this country. I don't need my plumber to do my taxes, and I don't need my rapper playing politics. I say all of this to say we are a bunch of misguided souls, fatigued by the years of oppression and racism. In conclusion, Cube's involvement in politics comes in the 11th hour and advocates Black people to hold their vote hostage unless demands are met, as if it's a hostage crisis. And we as people need returns on our investment, because the system has never truly valued us. But in 2016, Cube was enjoying his multi-million-dollar lifestyle, while millions of Americans protested the very results of their election. Cube has benefited from Trump's economics policies, as well as having a never-mentioned secret relationship with Trump buddy Steve Bannon. Don't believe me? Google the Washington Post article, the Ice Cube Steve Bannon Qatar allegations of 2018. I would think Cube was hoping to achieve, what Cube was hoping to achieve was a unified front, and based off one tweet from Trump representative who never actually met with Cube, he met with Kushner, who can only make suggestions, not decisions. Cube was used simply as bait around the election and has stirred another divide in our community, cast a doubt on the election and more, and while being in bed financially with a Trumper such as Steve Bannon. That's all I had to say.
Very well said, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Nobody's talked about the Biden plan. I heard you said you had the Biden plan.
Everybody got the Biden plan, but see, what everybody needs to do is people got to stop depending on what I may read of it. People got to pick it up and read themselves, because like I just said, Biden's plan for Black America has been on this page all along.
Do not let them make a plan for you.
Agreed. But guess what? Whether you like it or not, Alfred, they're already making a plan for you.
That's
the only reason I even say that though, Alf, is if we're gonna beat Trump up with his plan, in fairness, we should address the Biden plan.
Here, I got it. I got it pulled up.
Wait. Hold on, man. And in fairness, address the Biden plan and show the differences in the Trump plan, because people saying they thought Ice Cube insinuated not to vote. I didn't gather that from what he said, but if some people did gather that, I gotta respect that.
He never, I will, like I said, he never actually said for anyone not to vote. And trust me, everything that Ice Cube is doing and his reasoning for it, I get it. But you all, like, I'm sorry, I had to go dig deeper. And the simple fact that he is in bed financially with Steve Bannon is a problem for me. Everybody knows Steve Bannon is, correct? For Trump.
Yeah. But here's the thing though. But we can do that to the Biden administration though. We can do all of those things.
I get it. And see what my point of the whole thing is, I'm not focused on the election part. I'm focused on number one for what Ice Cube represents, and I respectfully know him. And like I said, I see him totally different than Kanye West. All right. He is actually trying to get something accomplished one way or another. I commend all of that. But what I had to go to do is even further is investigate why it is that it is put out there. He never came to anybody that said, yeah, put me out here, Trump administration. He didn't even know the lady was going to tweet the information before he did. So that lets you know it was a political ploy that he didn't have no control of. Like Alfred said, don't let nobody create a plan for you. The minute that he contacted them, they had a plan for him and how they was going to use and spin him in today's social media cycle. It worked.
That's politics.
Everything,
but that's both sides.
Is a political ploy.
And let me, can I?
Right, that's both sides.
But one thing that I will say, and like I said, I really ain't had too much to go on it from the very beginning because I already cast my vote. But regardless, it's necessary for everybody to understand who all of these people are. Because one thing that people want to quickly knock Joe Biden, but nobody wants to go back and knock the black representatives during that time for voted for what Joe Biden, for that 94 crime bill that everybody got a problem for.
Oh, I did.
Right? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It was 100% supported by black politicians at the time.
Charlie Rangel.
But we not pointing. But we not
the-
pointing at them. Perhaps because none of them are running for office.
No, a lot of them are still in office though.
He's
That's
running
what
for
I'm saying.
president though.
But agreed.
But Congress is the
but
one
how
who
many
writes
of
the
those
laws
same
that the
people that
president
voted
signs.
for that bill have been reelected, but they don't get the attention? So the whole purpose of the Biden thing is to come out about that 94 crime bill. All right, that's everybody's biggest claim on it. I get it. I understand it. But number one, you all.
Oh, we're not going to talk about the 9/11 war?
Well,
that he voted for?
I mean, but
that's pretty fucking bad.
I mean, but realistically, the 9/11 war.
What about the Patriot Act?
Hold on. Who had the button?
Patriot Act fucked everybody up, and don't know
who had the button? Who had the control of the button to send us to war?
It was a Republican. Yeah. But who has?
I'm not even.
But Biden, Congress is ones who vote to go to war. The War Powers Act, that was all voted for by Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. I mean, that's even what Obama said.
Barack Obama.
No, he didn't vote for that.
No, but all of them was in office. That's my point.
Barack Obama was not in office at that particular time.
Not in that point, but he played a role in the process. That's my point.
He probably would have as a Democrat. And then when people sit there and say like rappers are being used as props and stuff like that, where was that energy when Bernie Sanders had Cardi B in that whole interview?
I had a problem with that because Cardi B can't represent me.
But the flip side to that is they are U.S. citizens. They have the right to have one-on-one engagements with their represent. Whether you vote for them or not, these people are still your state, federal, and local representatives. Not only is it your right, it's your responsibility to engage with these motherfuckers and ensure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. And when you take yourself out of it because you personally don't like them or who they're connected with or what they believe, I mean, I guarantee you, I don't like none of them, but I will hold all of them responsible because that's the office of what they chose to do. I excuse none of them and I hold them responsible. That's what we all need to begin to do.
No, without a doubt, you're 100% correct. All right. And one thing that I will commend, everybody hopped on Puffy when he said we're gonna hold our black vote hostage. But what he did speak up is already bring to mention is its own black political party. But you all, here's something that I gotta let you know. Black people only represent 13.4% of the country's population.
Still 3 times more than Jews.
But Jews are not a race; they are a religion, and that's what people got to separate.
Well, that's
They're
not
religion.
what they say, but yeah, I with you.
But they are
then
religion.
Where's the money? They got access to the money in the media.
They have access to all of that. But what I'm saying is, here's what you are. We want political power. We're gonna have to find somebody to team up with, which is when Raina said something about teaming up with the Latin. That is how you get somewhere. Because right now, you all, like I said, Cube only bringing 2 to 3 chips to the table, and they got unlimited credits. But you bring all the black and brown people together. But see, part of what that is, y'all know, most of them, a lot, are voting for who already in office.
Yeah. Because they're getting access to those contracts, those shit jobs that quote unquote Americans don't want to do. You know how many Hispanic construction companies, landscaping companies, and so on and so on, that it used to be black people that were the foremen and stuff like that, and had a couple of Spanish boys working for them. It's the complete opposite now.
Right. And part of that also is we some snooty folks and say I ain't doing that job.
Part of that is also they are some business that don't help none, and they collectively got their money to get their own businesses to start contracts.
So let me understand this, man. So we've agreed that this is a political ploy, and that neither side is going to do anything for the black community.
Agree.
Neither side.
On that, right?
Neither side. Agree.
I want to, but let me. I'm trying to understand. So why are we voting for Biden?
Here's why.
Right.
Hold on. Here's why. You miss every shot you don't take.
Exactly.
We have no power. We have no power sitting our asses on the sideline.
I got a question.
How many points can you score in the game if you're sitting in the crowd? And I'd rather be involved in the game than a spectator. That's why I'm voting.
So we basically said you give him a shot. Let's give him a shot.
Let me touch on this. I got the alternative. Let me get the alternative. I got the alternative. The alternative is, see, you saying if you're not in the game, us being a part of this system is not being in the game. That's the thing about it.
Hold on. I disagree. Because here's why. Hold on. Here's why I say I disagree. Because they take money out of my check every 2 weeks. So I am in the game.
Hold on. No, what you doing is you playing on their team. Is what you're doing. You helping them.
I don't have no choice. They take taxes out of my check.
All right,
That's why I'm in the game.
Let me
speak. So if I'm
going
to be in the game, I'm going to shoot. Go ahead.
You shooting at their basket. You shoot at the wrong basket.
Nah. I totally disagree.
Why are we losing it?
You know why we're losing? Because we're still dealing with the effects of the slave mentality 400 years later. That's the first reason why we're losing. The second reason why we're losing is we have no idea who we are as people, and we have to decide who we're going to follow first, the people that look like us. So
I'm not following anyone.
Us losing is because we refuse to get on the same team with each other. Like it's personal. We already started our team.
Mm-hmm.
But us as a people, I can't say that us as a people have. That's why we're losing. You're absolutely right. We are losing, but that's the biggest reason why. 100% agree.
Let me go. Because I didn't get to speak.
Go ahead, Mark.
Because I got to get out of here. So now we say we don't know who we are, right? Let me tell you who we are. Who we are the people that originate here in this land. It was lied to us. We are the aboriginal people of this landmass. That's who we are. So when you say you pay taxes, right? Why, if you knew exactly who you are and not who they told us who we are, which are slaves that came from Africa. Everybody ain't come over here doing the transatlantic slave trade. We were already here, and that's what we were lied about. So what I'm saying to you is, once we realize that this is our land, and they are from Europe, then now when you talking about we owe Europeans taxes in our own landmass, no. What it is everything that anybody do in this landmass that they're not us, they should be owing us taxes. See, then we begin to change our mentality. And we not voting to be inside of a system that should be paying us taxes to even operate in our land. That's what I'm talking about. Why
So
are we voting?
How do you carry that out then, Mark? How does that get carried out?
One, we got to transfer.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying the mindset is wrong. I'm just saying, how do you actually carry that out?
That's a good question.
How do
Segregation.
no, what we do is we change our status and we let them know that we are no longer black people, but we are Aboriginal natives of this land. And guess what? We found out who we were, and you ain't think we would. You thought we was gonna ride. You thought we was gonna ride with the Negro and the black. No, we changed our status now.
Hey, Smooth.
Okay,
Listen.
hold on. You don't gotta say nothing. Just let me talk. Don't cut me off. Okay. So now from there, they already are admitting that they stole the land. That's not even something that we have to. They're admitting that they stole the land. All right. So who did they steal it from? The natives. Who are the original natives? Us. So now we stepping back up and we claiming our rights to who we were. You stole our land. You're admitting to it. Now, if you want justice, anything shy of dealing with that part of it is not justice. It'll never be justice until they correct stealing the land from us, period. So that's what we're going for. We're going for our land that you all stole and you're admitting it. Now, if they don't want to give it back to us, now we got to figure out what we're going to do about it. Are we going to be men? Are we going to be men? Because you can't just have that. At some point, you can't just have my house. You don't get to come in my house and take it.
Exactly.
So we now got to decide what we're going to do. But being slave, all of this talk of voting and all this other stuff, that's not how you talk when you in your own house and a stranger is in your house calling shots and making rules. That's not how you talk.
At all.
This is why our self-esteem is low. I keep saying it. Our self-esteem is low. It's because we are in our own home and shots are being called by strangers, by outsiders, and we're just going along with it. There's no respect and there's no honor in that.
We just
I'm tired of playing with these people, man. I'm tired of playing with this thing, man.
So I want to go back and
I don't have anything to say after that. I don't think any of us have anything to say because honestly, none of us have an answer. We're going back and forth about voting. Devon, what you said was beautiful, but again,
I got a great answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, when you looking at what Devon said, like we make up 13.4% or 13.6% or whatever it is, the Fugazi number, that should tell you right there that we got power. Asians make up 5.6%. When you seen an Asian campaign ad for anybody? Anything. But
actually, my neighbor has an ad out front that says Vietnamese for Trump, by the way. And no bullshit. And here's the reason why a lot of immigrants here, in particular, then I'm done. Part of the reason why a lot of immigrants that come here see Trump as a symbol is because they come from communist places and they see him as being a white man as a symbol of freedom and opportunity. That's why. I call bullshit, but that is why. Hispanics, Vietnamese, all of that.
Population. If we came together and created our own society, they wouldn't be able to tell us shit, and we could take this land back.
You gotta be, y'all, first of all, they can have this.
Yeah,
I told you I'm trying to get the hell out. I told you I'm trying to get the hell out and away. But it starts with political capital, you all. And the best way for what Cube should have done
starts with economic capital. Economic capital, man. Not political capital.
Correct.
But hold on.
It starts with economic capital.
politics and economics in this country are intertwined.
Yep.
If it's not, why do you think it was made such a big deal that Biden raised $383 million last month or something crazy like that? If economics didn't play a role in politics, it would never be mentioned. So economics and politics do play a role, because you got enough money, you can get any bill passed. You got enough money, you can break any law. So that tells you economics is necessary, but it's all politics in the end of the day.
You got enough money, you can create your own society. We can create a brand new Black Wall Street.
You're right, but guess who owns the land that we're gonna have to go buy it from?
Mark just told you it's ours. We just gotta be willing to fight for it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that whole fighting shit, as much as I love the idea, it's not gonna fucking happen. It's just not.
No.
That said, I do think everyone needs to be fully prepared in the near coming future to be ready for anything and everything that's about to come. Because believe you me, you may not think that it's getting crazy out here, but it's some crazy people out here that think it's fucking crazy out here. And you need to be prepared to deal with that. As far as, once again, these plans, because that's the topic of this particular discussion, I still stand by the place of it doesn't matter if you're Black, white, male, female, Christian, Muslim, trans, gay, whatever. Your rights are protected if you have a U.S. citizen. So you don't necessarily need the domestic violence or women against violence, that whole thing that you can't.
You're supposed to be covered.
Like that. Yeah, assault and battery. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a classified person. You know what I'm saying? It should be flat out equal. Like that whole shit about that one of the plans and anyone can have access to it if they do it in a particular Black community. Shit's already like that. We don't sit there and capitalize on those different things. We don't sit there and actually financially support the Black business because for several different reasons and stuff like that.
Part of it because some of our Black business customer service sucks, but that's another side.
100%. That's real shit.
Yeah,
that's real.
But then on the flip side, there's a lot to it. But those people, those different groups that come into our quote unquote communities and set up shop, and I still have a hard time saying how is it our communities when we don't own most of the community.
Anything.
So, but that's also another discussion. Getting our shit together as far as how we're gonna get our stuff back and all of that. I personally despise the idea of reparations because of what it means. It means that there's a dollar figure for what happened to us. And I don't think that figure can ever be matched. I do think those situations need to be rectified, but I refuse to rely on a government, regardless of who the party is or who the president, whether they're racist or the sweetest, nicest little people that you could ever meet. No, I don't trust that because what about the next person and what they can do? They shouldn't be able to take from other people and give to anybody. They need to get the fuck out the way and let people do their things. And without picking a side or a party and having that discussion, we need to demand that as us as Black people, y'all stay the fuck out of our families. Y'all stay the fuck out of our finances. Y'all stay the fuck out of our education and stuff like that. Because I don't want national education to think this is what you have to know. I don't want the government to be that big and that powerful to be able to tell you what you have to know. I think it's on our responsibility to go out and get the information and learn for ourselves and teach it to ourselves. But this whole thing of the government telling Black people this is what you get, how is that even, what the fuck? That's where I'm at.
But Alfred, how do we deal with the trauma from it? Because they've already done it. So now we're traumatized.
And they're going to keep doing it, especially when we give them access to us to allow them to keep doing it. Get the fuck out of our lives. And us as men, protect you all as women. You all as women, sustain us as men. That's the answer.
So
how do we get the money? You said no reparations and you don't want them involved. Where are we going to get the resources to deal with our own selves?
The same way
may I
Asians
chime
do
in?
when they come over here, the same way Hispanics do. We build in our own community. We're
think we
so
could do that.
integrated right now. We can't spend with our own. We're spending with everyone else but us. But digitally now we can spend with our own and raise our own capital. We have access to a lot of talent, a lot of industry, a lot of technology that people will invest in. So I'm not saying that other money won't come to us. And when other people see that we are like, there's a lot of people that don't like Jews that invest with Jews. There's a lot of people that don't like Hispanics that invest with Hispanics. There's a lot of people that can't stand gays that invest in gays, and vice versa. There's no reason why we can't have that same type of capital.
So look, as far as the reparations, when it comes down to it, when we were brought over, when we were in prison or enslaved, what did they take from us? They didn't take money from us. They took education. They took culture. They took our heritage, right? So when it comes down to it, like, I don't think reparations should be money, man. I think it should honestly be education. I think that people should be able to get a college education because for free. Like, honestly, that's where that should go to. You know what I'm saying?
I
Because
would
with
argue that should
education,
happen nationwide. I would like to see a
I agree.
very educated population, regardless of what color you are. But that, once again,
I agree with that.
reparations mean, and when people sit there and say, yeah, they made us slaves, we allowed them to do it. So we're going to bear no responsibility to it. There was a man who saw a white guy take his wife and rape her, and he went out and worked in his field. He did it. He chose to do that.
You forgot the
Hey,
part that
look,
he was
I
already in chains when that happened, though.
He allowed himself to be put in chains.
It was either that or
I
that.
mean,
Then die.
Listen,
then you die.
listen, I'm
Then
gonna
you
say
die.
this. Hold on, wait, because we gotta wrap it up, man. Because we gotta wrap it up. But I'm gonna say this though. I agree with Alfred in a lot of stuff he talks about as far as taking responsibility about the past. I don't think we had as much as many options as he thinks. Sometimes the situations is too different to try to generalize everything with one answer. But I'm gonna say this, man. I appreciate everybody's passion and with with what's going on with the up and coming election and what we should do to make our communities better, man. At the end of the day, man, we're doing our part, man. And if everybody takes on that mentality, even everybody takes on the Ice Cube mentality, man, we'll figure it out. Just everybody trying to figure it out. If we all just come to the table, just like Devon was talking about, we all came to the table, man. You know what I'm saying? We'll be better off. So, I personally didn't take the week to, and this is no shot at anybody's opinion or anything. I didn't take the week to try to nitpick through the plans. I read them and I just took them for face value. They're saying they're going to do this, and I took them for face value that way. But once you look at the dynamics of everything, yeah, we can break it down and say none of it will ever come to pass or because of whatever reasons. But I just appreciate him coming up and trying to do something for change. So, man, we're gonna end it here, man. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, Kenny, real quick. Can I plug two things real quick? I saw that we were talking about firearms on our text message and everything like that. So I want to plug two things. The first one is called NAGA, National African American Association for Guns, and I think that everybody should check that out because in this group. And if you're not a member, you should join. It's basically like the NRA for Black folks.
Absolutely, already
I'm
a
member.
member.
Okay, the other thing is this. If you are a concealed weapon carrier, I suggest that you join the National Concealed Carry Association. If you join them and it's like $20 a month or something like that, if you get in a situation where you have to defend yourself, you're still going to get arrested. You're still going to have to go through legal aspects. and this company will actually retain a lawyer for you that is specifically for your rights to bear arms and protect yourself. So
Yep, up to
these are two things that
$250,000.
Up to two, exactly.
Mhm.
So I think that anybody that is here to protect themselves should definitely look into joining that and plugging it to anybody else. And we should definitely put firearms in our neighborhood, because when it goes down, we have to protect the women we love, we have to protect the people we love, and we have to be able to protect our communities. And we want to be able to.
Put them websites in the text for me, man, so I can check it out.
I send it in
Yeah,
the
man.
text. I'm a member of both.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a member of both.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
yeah.
those. Thank you for those things. Yeah, send that to him, man, offline, man. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. We'll see y'all next week, man.
All right, y'all.
Hey,
Y'all be
it's a pleasure,
safe.
y'all.
All right,
Y'all be safe.